Okay, we're back again. Second half of a two-parter. It wasn't planned to be a two-parter, but we had so much to talk about that we're going to do a second half about Cope's, oh, Jack Cope to give him his full name, his professional career. So who better to have on the podcast than me and Kempo? And then Rob and Jordan are just going to sit in the background
Yeah,
and
agreed.
not really ask too many questions.
We'll take it from here.
We'll take it from here. So, before we get into that, as always, we'll get into the golf action from last week. And before I just hand over to Jordan, like I usually do, I watched the highlights and I saw a bit of it over the weekend. And can I just say, I've never seen so many hole-outs in one round in my life. The amount of chip-ins, there was a slam dunk from near guard something. What's his name? Near guard. He's got
Peterson.
There you go,
Guard
Peter.
Peterson. Yeah. We can talk about his finish as well, but the standard of golf just seemed to be incredible. But I'm sure Rob Jordan have a bit more of a hole by hole analysis of what happened.
Yeah. Fitzpatrick won. He birdied the last to get to 18 under. And then Rory and Nygaard Peterson were playing the last both on 16, and they both had to make eagle. Nygaard Peterson hit it to about 30 feet. Rory hit it to about 25 feet. Nygaard Peterson just missed. And then Rory, obviously, you obviously haven't seen the video. He holed it to get into a playoff, to eagle the last, get into a playoff, just like he did at the Irish Open a few months ago. So that's pretty cool to do that twice in 1 year, let alone twice,
It's a good habit
let,
to have.
let alone twice in one career.
Yeah. For a guy who's missed he missed a couple of short putts in the Masters to then after that hole, two huge clutch
The,
putts.
this goes back to my argument that you'd rather a 20 footer for the
Yeah,
win than a free putt.
like a three-footer.
I agreed.
I think that's
But
just for
yeah,
Rory. He just keeps doing it. Every time he's behind, he plays great. Every time he's ahead, he just the he just freezes. Same thing at the Masters, same the Irish Open, same thing this week at the Tour final. He had the tournament in his hands. It was like 4 under through seven, cruising. Then it was two over from there. Basically lost it, and then once he got behind again, bang, flushes it in 17, doesn't make the putt, but then makes the eagle on 18. He's
He's
just
pure
like
entertainment value. He always has that one round where you're like, oh, Rory, why didn't you not just kick on? Sometimes it was in the Masters, he'd have a per first or second round. Then by the end of the week, you're like, if you just shot level par one of these rounds, you would have won. He's never really runs away with it.
just
Um,
box office.
it's just box
He is like
office. I mean, I can think back, obviously, when he got his first major, he won by eight. But after
Mm.
that, when he lost a bit of confidence after 2014, yeah, but it's great to watch. I say as a neutral, but I think everybody's secretly a bit of a Rory fan. So
yeah, I have to agree. 235-yard five wood into the last, dreamy.
yeah,
Then in the playoff, he hit it into the creek. So swings and roundabouts, really, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Fitzpatrick kind of made a bit of a hash of it as well. So he ended up having 3 foot for par. Rory had like 20 feet for par. He missed it. So
Yeah.
Nygaard Peterson, by the way,
hmm
Kevin said earlier that he finished was 5 under for his last five to again a PJ Tour card. So that's pretty sick. Kind of like Eddie Pepperell last week when he finished with four in a row to get his DP World Tour card. Nygaard Peterson,
Yeah.
three eagles, one birdie and par to get his PJ Tour card, which I think is pretty clutch because he wasn't playing well at the start of the round. To be fair to him,
yeah.
Mm.
yeah.
And
Watch
there's
out! Watch out for him. I've got him for Ryder Cup in Ireland.
Really?
He is one of the most impressive players I've watched play golf.
yeah, he bombs it for someone that's not massive as well. So
Yeah.
he is a
Just strikes it, shapes it both ways. Has a short game. Just struggled with the putter, but he seems to
mhm.
figure it out with the
He's
arm
figured
lock,
something out. Arm lock,
the
claw.
arm lock claw,
wheels
long
outdoors.
grip.
Yeah.
Talking about
Perfect. Yeah,
that, before we get back to DP World Tour, I saw a little bit of PJ Tour, and you see the guy, or is it Corn Ferry Tour, where he was putting one-handed?
Yeah,
yeah. PG
PJ
Tour.
Tour.
Yeah, and he won.
Wow.
He
Yeah,
won.
and he
Adam
won.
He
Schenk, he
won
won.
one-handed.
He won.
Well, yeah, some it's weird because some putts he hit one-handed and some putts he hit two-handed, and then he'd be chipping one-handed and chipping two-handed, and he was hitting 100 yard shots on the floor to like lay up. It was that windy. They were saying like 40, 50 mile an hour winds, which is actually nothing really if you think about it.
Oh, I look more than that.
Yeah.
You see it? Oh,
Yeah, well, it's not the links, is it, in November? So
no.
But the PJ Tour next year, so the one out of that week, the ones who I don't not necessarily secured their card that week, but we know that 10 players who got their card were, I mean, there's Alex Noren, Hoi Tong Lee, who've kind of both had their struggles and been back. again, Jordan Smith, who's been consistent over the past few years, always put him down for bets and
Yeah.
majors.
Well, he did well this week because he had a terrible first round,
He,
and he
yeah,
rallied well.
he finished 21st last year,
Yeah,
and
so
missed out by
solid.
one, and then he finished 20th this year to gain it. So I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a
and
solid
I
player.
also saw that Dan Brown shot 4 over last round and
To
missed
lose a
out on
card.
PGA Tour by one.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
There's
Yeah.
it's always a story.
And then there's John Parry, who got his
Oh.
PGA Tour card like 14 years after his
Mhm.
last start or something. The PGA, I don't know. That's something crazy. There's been a big gap between getting his card this time and when he was
I think
last
he's played
best.
33 events this season. I saw he has had
oh
like
my God.
every event he could play. He's played.
he played the DP World Tour Finals for the first time 13 years ago, and he hasn't played it since. So this is his second time, and his first time was 13 years ago playing it.
And then
That's
straight to
crazy.
PGA Tour.
Straight to PGA Tour. He won the Mauritius Open last year, so
Very impressive. Well, we'll get into Jack sitting there very patiently waiting.
We haven't even spoke about YouTube golf yet either.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they had a big
Let's
event
talk,
on this
let's
weekend,
talk about that for a couple of minutes. I saw me and Jordan watch some of it. I mean, Jordan watched all of it, I think. I saw the semi-finals.
Have you been busy, Ethan?
Very busy, yeah. Working on that putting. Um, and then losing matches to Jordan. That's what's been happening. So, but yeah, the YouTube thing. I remember I was home last week and speaking to this guy I'd not seen for years, and he was like, "Oh, how's the golf going?" And he was like, "Are you watching the YouTuber the golf at the minute?" I was like, "No, I didn't really. Honestly, I didn't even know it was on, and then realized just how big a thing it was
Mhm.
and the amount of traction it's got. There just seems to be clips of it everywhere. Obviously, unfortunately, beef passed away as well. The whole event's been very. There's been a lot of media attention on it, and then Jordan was telling me about the controversy in the last round as well that I've tried to catch
yeah,
up on.
saying there was
Crazy.
like slope on one of the Bushnells, and they were like patting down the rough and then the rough and all that sort of nonsense. And it kind of added to the drama a little bit because I feel like they needed that because the game was pretty good anyway. Like the final match
Yeah.
was pretty close,
Yeah.
but it's just perfect for YouTube. Do you know what I mean? Because you get to see
Sure.
everything. It's all kind of like raw and stuff. So it
Sure.
was pretty entertaining. That's all it was.
And
You
you've
know,
got
some good
guys,
shots,
yeah.
there were some really bad
Yeah.
shots, but it was pretty entertaining. And the
It's
fact
good
they
to
were playing
see.
for $1 million.
It's good
Yeah.
to see under pressure how like nervous amateurs can get.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my! Like that chip shot he hit on the last.
Awful.
Oh
You could
my
see it
God.
coming a mile away.
You could a mile away. So stiff,
Yeah.
body didn't move.
Yeah. No, there's
Yeah.
a few. I mean, you've got that guy swearing blind that it wasn't on slope. He swore to Jesus, and all day it was on slope. And then you've got Brad Dalkey. He is seriously good. His short game's a joke. He hits it so far as well. But it's a good watch. It's a really good watch, and like I say, it's good. It's good for the sport at the end of the day. So
Yeah, it gets more eyes on the game and more
Yes.
people. It's less serious golf. I think that I liked when I watched those couple episodes on the par three course. I mean, it's one thing to watch vlogs of guys playing par fours, and I don't know, I think it's a bit repetitive for me,
yeah,
but on
that
that
doesn't
on
interest
that
me.
par three course, especially the layout of it, it's just unreal.
Mhm.
And of course the layout's really great to watch, but the jeopardy, you'd have some like a mid-handicapper hitting a shot 10 yards short of a green and it'd be 40 yards in a runoff, and then they've got like a high flop chip over a bunker. And you're like, these guys aren't even like really good golfers and they're playing for this so much money. So
Exactly.
very relatable golf. I think that's why so many people liked it.
Exactly.
So yes, we'll get into the guts of the episode, which is Jack's pro career. So I'm probably not going to speak as much in this episode, which everybody will be relieved to hear, because I've asked Rob and Jordan to prepare some questions. Kemp, feel free to ask some questions as well, but naturally, Rob and Jordan being at similar stages of their career to Jack, got them to prepare some things. So, Cope, yeah, tell us about I suppose, when you went from amateur to pro and what made you take that decision.
Uh, I turned pro literally 1st of Jan, I think, 2023. I planned to turn pro after the St Andrews Links, and then I was advised by the management company I was going to side with not to do it because it was a bit turbulent in terms of no tour school. Couldn't get loads of invites at the time because everyone was wanting to play, trouble getting in and out of countries and so on. So I waited a whole year to play 2022. Got injured halfway through it, funnily enough, which was a small issue of of what I've got now, and then I got fit again in Turn Pro start of 2023, and I said right, let's sort of crack on really. I think
And
I'd sort of like I guess basically been done with sort of amateur golf. I think I'd achieve what I wanted to achieve. I wasn't going to wait for another Walker Cup to try and get into that. I just wanted to get going in pro golf really.
so you turned pro, and then what tour did you go on to, and what did your events look like from the start of the year?
So I had no status anywhere, just turned pro. Knew I was going to play the first year that Clutch was about because Europro had folded, I think the summer or winter before or something.
Hmm.
So I just said, right, okay, I'll play Clutch. That's its replacement. And then I went and played a bit of winter tour golf, the Portugal Pro Golf Tour, which is, um, I think there's quite a few sort of, well, I guess more than half decent boys play it, ex-European Tour players, current European Tour players, sorry, DP World Tour players, sorry, will go play it and warm up. They had an LPGA Tour player go play it. So, I mean, the standards sort of pretty good to get you sharp for season. You play some decent golf, and it's pretty cost effective to go out there for a while. In the winter in Portugal, it's pretty cheap that time of year. So I just cracked on there whenever with a friend, and that was that.
So that was that 2023 or was that 2024?
2023, that was, yeah.
2023. So so you did that at the start of the year, and then you played Clutch, and how did your first year in Clutch go?
Awful, to be honest. Uh, I didn't play very well, struggled a lot with my golf swing, struggled a lot with adapting to professional golf because all of a sudden you go from being surrounded by a national team and having a squad group and managers and different coaches, like a nutritionist, a physio, various psychologists, performance coaches, 3D, swim mechanics, everything like that. And you go, right, okay, you're on your own now. And then probably didn't put enough in place to ease that transition myself. Just went, right, I've got my golf coach that'll do. And then
Hmm.
actually struggled a lot, to be honest. Finished about 57th or something, I think it was, on the order merit. Started off, became 20th and 7th in the first two events, and then it didn't get much better throughout the sort of course of the year.
So you're saying, was it a mix of, was it mainly mental and adjustment, or was there technical issues going on as well? Or a bit of both? Probably is always a bit of both, but
A bit of both, to be honest. A lot of it was adjustment in terms of I probably wouldn't have been good at playing good golf while playing badly then.
hmm.
So I go, oh God, I'm not hitting it well today. That'll be hard. Uh, and then alongside that, I had some technical issues dealing with a two-way miss off the tee, which is an
Ooh.
absolute no-go for anyone that plays golf.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
covered that topic extensively, I think.
Yeah, we've got some big experience in this.
I've been safe hands.
Yeah, what I was going to ask Jack is what's the biggest difference of going from like you're playing you're at close to the top of the world amateur rankings, playing really good golf, and then suddenly you turn pro. Then what are the biggest differences going from the top of the amateur events to then trying to earn your way in the pro game at the on satellite tours, trying to make your way up?
You'll probably agree with this, Robert, your experience, but you play amateur golf and you shoot 5 under on some of the courses you play, and you think, oh, it's a great round of golf there. And then all of a sudden you go play pro golf and you shoot five. I mean, I shot 540-mile-an-hour winds in the event this year. I was six off the lead after round one. And I just thought, whoa, there we
Yeah,
go. And then I think it's a case of, yeah, the scoring's a lot better. A lot of it's based on the courses you're playing, obviously. But as in the guys you're playing are guys that have been doing it since they were 17, 18. And they're, I mean, close to 30. So they got, I mean, nearly, well, sort of 10 plus years experience of playing professional golf, grinding out, not caring where they play. And then all of a sudden you think you come from an England squad and go, okay, I've had a good amateur career. Let's go try pro golf. And you don't understand how tough it's going to be to seamlessly fit in sometimes. And I think unless you had that support network around you, it's probably hard to adjust, which is probably what I went wrong, I'd say.
Mhm.
yeah. The support team, is huge. 'Cause I
Yeah.
get so many questions from people like, "Oh, he was such a good amateur. Like, what happened to him?" And I was like, "Well, it's not like you get to this level as an amateur, and then you go pro, and then you need to be at this level, and then you'll just make it.
No.
You still need to get better at your short game, get better at your mental game. To make it through the satellite tours, even if you're 20th in the world, you got to get up to here. Then to make it through challenge tour, you got to make it up to here. Then it keeps going every year. There's no guarantee if you're a really good amateur that things are going to flow. You probably experienced that as well.
Yeah, that actually funny you say that. I spoke to a friend of mine who played national golf, not for England, but another UK nation. And he was advised not to turn pro because he was t sorry, the dog's I can't believe this.
Fudge!
We're back. We're back
Sorry
after
for
Jack politely asked the dog to leave.
Jesus. Scaring the life of me. I'm looking at my left and I've got two big black eyes looking at me.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, so he was advised not to turn pro by his nation's sort of squad manager because the level playing clutch pro is not as strong as high level amateur golf in the UK and Europe and stuff. And after experiencing both, I could not disagree with that advice anymore. That's probably the worst advice I've heard in terms of, I guess, knowledge on the topic. In terms of like, if I'm returning to some of my first clutch events, and you're playing with boys that have won on the DP World Tour, that have lost their cards and come back down, guys that you think, God, they played in a Walker Cup team when I was sort of just getting to looking around, sort of high level amateur golf, and they're still grinding away,
Yeah.
doing everything they were doing 6, 7 years later. So everyone that's not where you think they could be with their amateur careers and prospects, and if they're still playing golf, they're probably on some sort of satellite tour, which then
Hmm.
makes it a bit of a cesspit of talent that's waiting to emerge, probably. Like there's loads of boys playing, and you think, what are you doing here? I mean, Rob, you probably noticed it playing on Pro Golf Tour. You're watching boys, you're thinking, why are you playing here? I mean,
Yeah.
I know Angel Hidalgo played Alpsor, didn't they? And then also he won 3 times, then got off challenge in the same year, and you think, why are you an Alpsor in the first place if you can show that sort of golf? I think you need a bit of patience sometimes, some people, because obviously, and there's examples like that, but there's sometimes you see boys and they just don't quite hit the heights that I guess, was said they could hit
Hmm.
instantly, and it just need a bit more time.
So
Yeah.
how hard is it for you, Jack, that when you see these boys that are like unbelievable, when you're like, wow, what are you doing here? You're like you're so good. How hard is it then to transition to that to when you play? And obviously you go like into your own little
Yeah.
world when you play, but you knowing that you might even play with some of them in the tournament, right? And then you're just watching them go and like, wow, like that's pretty good. Obviously you got to back yourself and you have your own belief.
Yeah.
Must be hard look at these boys thinking, wow, they're playing the same event as me. Do you know what I mean?
See, in my first year as a pro, I found that weird sometimes in terms of obviously played with a lot of big names, and I played a deep world tour and spent time around guys at the top of the game and practice with them and whatever. So I know what this personalities are like. I'm not like I wouldn't stand the range and go, oh my God, like star watching.
Mm.
But like you play boys and you think I had like an epiphany playing with Brandon Robinson Thompson actually in Ireland. I played a fun round with him and Curtis Snipes of some event at Clandy Boy, and I
Mm.
scraped my way the last day in like the penultimate group, thinking, God, I'm doing all right here. I finished like 11th at the end, and I remember watching him, and he was having an off day, and I just went, I need to get a lot better at this because I'm not as good as I thought I was when I turned pro, and that was like a light bulb moment to go right. The boys are better here than what a lot of people give them credit for,
Yeah. You
which
see,
is yeah, it's hard to adjust to it. I mean, you turn pro and go out there, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to
you've said it as
BRT
well.
as well, by the way. What a player he is.
Dude, what? And Brandon?
Yeah, mate. Isle of Wight.
Yeah, there's someone in the water down there, isn't there?
Something good, yeah. He actually
Something
managed
good.
he managed to get his DP World Tour card. He retained it. He played this week actually.
Yeah.
He got it just on the number, so he's playing next week. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of touched on it before that if you're a really good amateur, there's just no guarantee that means you're going to be a good pro golfer, and it comes down to various factors. I think we know a lot of golfers maybe whose games aren't as universal, like they've been really good, say, links players, and then their ball flight's a bit low, and they can't really transition that to playing away. Maybe
Mm.
I know guys talk about it playing college golf, where they go over to the States and play a tournament, and you're like, you just can't hit the ball like that around here. You need to work on your ball flight. Everybody can play. I don't want to level it down to play your own course because if you're getting to top amateur level, obviously you can play a lot of courses, but mainly say you're UK based, you're playing a lot of links golf, you're playing the likes of Lytham and these ones where you're keeping it low. But if you have to go on a big monster golf course and to get the ball going high, start and stopping quickly, having that skill set's completely different. And yeah, there's no real guarantee that you're just going to take off on the
Yeah.
PGA Tour or DP World Tour, for example.
I mean, the mini tours, it seems to me that it's just years and years of incredibly talented people just basically queuing up, waiting for their chance to play well for 4 weeks straight, and waiting for their chance to play well at the right time. And that's what will kick you on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
part of it probably. I mean, I don't know what Rob would say about that because Rob's actually gone and done all the like, as in not a tour school, but he's done the hard slog of getting his card via obviously his Order of Merit on the
Yeah.
Pro Golf Tour, and that's like I don't think people realize how well you have to play for X amount of events to actually do that. Like you have to win, I don't know, two, three times, and then you can't just, I mean, go on holiday the rest of the time. You still have to get in the top 10, top fives. And I mean, if I look at the boys that finished in the top three of the All American Clutch this year, and you look at their golf, two of them won three times. Uh, I mean, Cal Farr, mate of mine's won three times,
mhm.
top five, two, three other times, and then top 10 another couple of times. You think 70%, 60% of events he's played, he's in the top 10, he's won three of them. And you're thinking, oh God, he's good. And then I remember playing with him in a practice round in Portugal at a Hotel Plantor event, and he went, yeah, it's a bit of a step up here. So you're looking at guys that are basically dominating the mini tour, and they go up a level and they say, God, it's a step up. It does make you realize that it it really is a step up, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a lot of
It's
that
it.
transition is it pressure as well. Did you feel a lot of pressure going from amateur having these high expectations on you to the pro game?
I felt a bit of pressure going from amateur to pro because where I'm from in Gloucestershire, you'd have a few other sort of good golfers, like I mean Joe Long won the British Am, uh, Chris Woods played Ryder Cup, for example. Mark Sanders won the English Am and then played on the DP, well, on the European tour it was called for a few years. And the, in, I was sort of peddled into, okay, you're gonna basically, I mean, you turn pro, you get your card almost instantly, and that'll be you off. And that was almost not said to me, but like, there's a few people that didn't even question that I wouldn't kick on as soon as I thought, and it'd just be quite easy.
Hmm.
And I think probably naively as a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, you go, oh yeah, God, that sounds good, without actually taking into account how big the step up is.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think it was almost detrimental to me at the time having like, okay, success is great as an amateur, but you always need people to tell you that you're not that great. You need to improve this and this. And I did have a golf coach who said you need to improve this, this, and this. I had certain individuals within golf going, you need to improve that, improve this, because I mean next levels are. But then there were a lot of people that were like, oh, it's great, you hit the ball like him. Oh God, well, you were better than he, and you're like, it's all irrelevant.
Mm.
It is, yeah, it is all irrelevant. That's where the support system is huge when
Yeah,
you turn pro, and where I got it a bit wrong when I first went onto the Challenge Tour because you're like everyone's saying exactly because you strike your 6 iron super flush, that means you're going to the DP World Tour,
yeah, it's
Yeah.
waste time.
which is the biggest waste of chat I've ever heard in my life. It
So
has no correlation to game like whatsoever. If your 6 iron sounds pretty nice on the driving range,
so
and then yeah,
yeah, you
that's
you carry
that
on, okay.
yeah, and that's and then that's
Rob
where the
talked about
support
6 lines.
that's where the support system comes in play where like okay, we need to get better at your body, you need to do consistently, you need to be getting better at this consistently, you need, someone working on your short game like measuring, you need to be, and then so every week doesn't, you're trying to just improve yourself instead of just going out and everyone expecting you to win and expecting you and you're thinking about points, and that's not how it works at all. Like you need to get to a place in your game where you can shoot two or three under when your swing feels horrendous,
Yeah,
when you've got no feel with your putting, and that's where it really matters.
Hmm.
absolutely.
So you had that not a great year on your first year at Clutch. What did you think after that year? Were you more determined to improve after that, or were you thinking, something needs to change, or, how did you go about that once you finished 57th in the Order of Merit in the first year? What was your thoughts after that?
I'm pretty honest with myself in terms of like if I thought I had no chance of playing professional golf at the highest level, I just sack it in. I'm not one to waste my own time doing anything. And I think my parents are probably quite honest with me and going, listen, Jack, it's not going to get a job.
Mhm.
So I said to myself afterwards, definitely still good enough. I've I've I guess exemplified that. Maybe not as I'd like this year, but previously I've shown I can compete at the level I want to get to. Just this year I basically had a couple of things technically that were wrong, a bit of adjustment going wrong, tried to fix those, and then actually had a complete reshuffle, went back to an old golf coach, and so I went back to seeing Russell Covey obviously when I played well as an am, and then went back to some swing fundamentals, so sort of quite fade biased, a bit more sort of natural moving, and then went right, let's sort of start the year better than I did last year. And
Mhm.
they tried to sort of tweak some of those errors, which was yeah, pretty good actually.
So almost like a reset.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, completely reset. So what was your mind thought going into this year? Obviously, you played really well this year. What were you thinking? What were your
We've
goals?
got
What were you thinking?
2024.
Oh, we're on 2024.
Yeah, I mean, 2024, I said I've I've
Right.
not won at professional level.
Yeah.
I've won at amateur level. I've won, I mean, junior county stuff, men's county stuff, and then worked up to men's international, and men's national stuff. So then I was like, right, I need to win at pro level. Went and played basically all the events on the Portugal Pro Golf Tour. Played with a lot of good golfers. Played pretty well. I think it's like fourth in the order merit. Ended up winning my first event over there.
Mhm.
I was like 60 under for 3 rounds in Portugal, playing against. I mean, in the field, you had someone like I'm Ben Schmidt. I play a lot of junior, done men's golf with Ben. He's now on the DP World Tour. Um, and I played that final round with Zan Lucas Stern as well. He was on the Challenge Tour last year, boy from Slovenia. So you're playing with like good golfers and boys that got the same aspirations as you. And that made me think actually it's not just like sort of winning like a winter tour event. It's like it does make you think your game is pretty capable. So that was a bit of a confidence booster for me leading into the main season on clutch. And then um ironically actually I had another back injury at the start of that clutch year, which was like a niggle that left me out the first 5, 6 events. So then I had to basically sort of forgo the first 6 and then come back and start halfway through the year pretty much.
Hmm. In terms of that win, like of course it's all relative, but like how you felt then in those winning moments compared to how you did feel as an amateur, is it the exact same? Like the winning mentality is the exact same at amateur and pro, or were there different things going through your head?
Yeah, like I could, well, me personally, I could play a professional event for £1,000 or £1,000,000 and I would get a buzz knowing that I have a chance to win a golf event. It's a it's like an urge to beat everyone else is what gives me a buzz when I play golf. So like on the last hole, I knew I had 2 shots clear and probably hit 2 of the best shots at all event on the last green's a bit of a sucky green at this place called Alamos in Portugal. So I was pretty happy with how I handled my game myself in those last few holes there. So that was like not a note to go, "Oh, I tell you what, I've still got it because it's been a while since I've won. But
Hmm.
nice to know that those skills are still transferable in professional golf because I guess at the end of the day, golf is just golf. Doesn't matter if you're an amateur or a professional. It's just your game probably evolves to get a bit better each time rather than sort of your skills in like pressurized situations, I'd say.
Yeah.
And it must have given you confidence as well that you've won in a different country on a different course on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was not really that grainy, but it would have been like sort of, I guess, tight, wet Bermuda grass, but not grain in the green. So that sort of stuff,
Yeah,
I guess you take into account when you win in that sort of climate.
yeah,
And then I think what I found useful playing that tour, and I did it again the following year, was you get used to traveling, playing a golf event, prepping, and sort of trying to do your routine lifestyle at home away from home a lot more
yeah.
consistently because that's sometimes the hard part. You go to some obscure countries is when I mean Robert chatting before we come in about Egypt, and you're like, you probably have to have a different diet, a different routine if you were in Egypt at a golf event compared to if you were in the UK. You can't just go down to Tesco in Egypt.
Yeah.
Well,
Did
I think
did
not.
you have to borrow any golf clubs in Portugal, or is that just an Egyptian thing?
That's just an Egyptian thing, I think.
Yeah,
Rob as well, but we'll go into your career, Rob. But like when you were winning, when you won your first pro event, did you have the same feeling like when you won a few things as an amateur as well? Were you thinking the th same things in those moments, or now that you're playing for money and you're making your name, is it a bit different?
not really. It's the same thing as Jack said. Like the skill of winning a golf event is completely transferable from low amateur to high amateur, elite amateur events to low pro events to, elite pro events to DP World Tour. That's a skill. Like you either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
And just the fact that you've got that, Jack, is already a mega asset, like going forward. Not a lot of guys
Thanks, Robert.
have that. And I mean, you gotta have some check marks and and pat yourself on the back sometimes. Like it's a long season, but having that is already like a huge step up. I'd be more worried about guys who are really consistent and good, but just in contention struggle.
Hmm.
That's when
Yeah.
that's when a career can get really tough. But the fact that you won at amateur level, you're now winning. You won it as a pro in Portugal. You're putting yourself in contention. You're going to win on clutch soon. Like these are skills that you have in the back of your, like, in your notepad Bible. That'd be
Yeah.
on page one. This is, I can win here. I can win on challenge. I can win on DP. It's just now getting into the positions, into getting into contention. That's the hard bit.
I think what's important about that though, like what you're saying, Rob, is in terms of like the transferable skills, is it might not always be dealing with pressure when you're about to win. It might be a case of you could be playing an event to keep your car, you need to make the cut, and you'd be coming down the stretch, and you need three pars or a birdie and two pars, and then you need to keep your car, and being able to control your emotions in that situation is similar to being able to control your emotions when you want to win.
Yeah,
It's just a pressurized situation where you need to execute X, Y, Z to get over the line and achieve what you set out to achieve. So I think when someone goes, yeah, it's great to get over the line because that shows you can do it when, I mean, you're like on the edge of getting to when you really won. It's also important to have it, I think, when you're like, God, I'm playing awful, but I really need to make a cut here, or I need to get the most out this week. Or if you're on a cut, I mean, some of my biggest moments from sort of my season last year when I felt like I was close to missing a cut,
Hmm.
and then I don't know, I find some of the last six holes and I really dig deep, and then all of a sudden you have a good last that you think, God, that result come out of nowhere because I was struggling there at one point yesterday.
Yeah.
So I think those skills
yeah.
are big on all sides of golf in terms of
That's
competing.
yeah. I'd say that's one of the biggest difference between amateur golf and pro golf, where if you're not playing great in that in an amateur week, you're kind of like, okay, you're 30th or 40th. It's not as important
Yeah,
to move up, and you're not necessarily under that much pressure if you're not in contention in amateur golf. The only time you're really feeling heat is if you might have a chance to win in big amateur events. But then once you're in pro golf, then every shot counts now.
yeah,
And you can, even on Clutch Pro Tour or even on the satellite tours, you can play two good rounds, and you can still be like, if their breaks didn't go too well your way, or your short game or scoring game wasn't that much on point, then you can still be on the cut line with two or three holes to go, and then you got the pressure of just playing to be there for another, to make a check, and
yeah,
that's pretty similar to trying to win an event. And
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pressure that, like, guys, you don't get as amateur golf that you do in pro golf, is that pressure to the 20th or 25th brings momentum into the next week. That's how you build a season, is finishing 20th, 25th when you're playing badly. And then you move on and you go to net and you slowly improve into the next week. And then you're playing maybe a bit better, 10th, 15th. And then slowly the week after you find yourself in contention. Whereas some guys will just kind of in that pressure moment, miss the cut, have huge doubts about their game, kind of be in a negative spiral, miss the cut again the week after, get worse. And that's a huge tool to have to be able to make cuts when you're under pressure. And that's that, as you said it, like at this year, you do that, and then you started getting momentum
yeah.
this year, and suddenly you find yourself, like, what were you, third or fourth in the rankings, pretty halfway through the season, was it?
Uh, yeah, I was fourth, I think, with three events to go.
Yeah. So in terms of like, as Rob said there, you're playing every shot counts. At this level, you're not just playing for the prize money, as a lot of people think. You've got sponsors, you've got world ranking points. You might be playing to try and finish in the top 12, for example, to get into next week. Like you've got so much that could get on your mind, but obviously temperament comes into it as well. How do you think your temperament's changed from the amateur game? I'm not alluding to any specific examples.
Why are you laughing?
Just in general, how do you think your temperament um and actually it's weird because you think in the pro game your temperament should come easier, but you feel this so much more pressure because if you finish 25th versus 30th, that could make a big difference. So what adjustments did you make? What were your initial transition from turn from amateur to pro? Do you think that came into your first year of golf, or was it just other things?
Uh, I would say I found it harder to deal with my emotions as an amateur because I wanted to play so well to basically put yourself on a pedestal for management companies, England selection, World Cup selection, whatever. But there were probably 6 events all year that really put you in the shop window. So if you didn't perform those 6 events, you were I mean, you could play great golf at a lesser event and win, but it
Hmm.
wouldn't be seen as well as you playing great golf and winning one of the big events, even though it might be the same field, it might be on the same type of golf, whatever. But and the way amateur golf worked then was it put a lot of pressure on me personally, I found. But pro golf, I found it a little easier at times because every week normally has equal importance in terms of same field size, same ranking points, same money. I mean, 9 times 10. So I I kept telling myself, okay, even if sort of like Rob was saying, I mean, you're scraping the finish sort of 25th, 30th, whatever. I thought to myself, even if I can just get in there, then okay, that's this week done as an okay week, and I've not had it. Then I can go on the next week and I've got basically an equal opportunity that I had this week, and hopefully I'll be able to tighten that up or sharpen that up, and then I can go again. So I was able to have a bit more perspective about whole season rather than just these 4 days I've got to play my best golf, which I found
Yeah,
really tough at times.
Hmm.
that's a good
So,
point.
so the 2024 season, how would you comparing it to 2023 and maybe just the season as a whole? How would you rate out of 10, or how was your second season in tour?
I played really well in 2024. Um, I finished 24th on the rankings, but missed 6 events. And you can't
Hmm.
really afford to miss any events if you're playing satellite tour because it's just
Yeah.
straight accumulation of points. And unfortunately, it's pretty dog eat dog. So based on that, I played pretty. My scoring average was pretty good. I think I was around 70,
Okay.
which is I mean pretty good to be honest. And I think I probably understood more what parts of my game needed to improve, and then again, chatting to boys that had come back down off challenge and were playing on clutch that year, then moved up and got their perception of what clutch was like, made me realize actually, okay, I might find it hard at the moment, but I need to get to a point where I find it really easy to compete on it, which I think probably found a lot more this year. And a lot of that came from the mindset shift rather than necessarily me magically finding a driver that goes down the straight every time a hole and everything inside 6 feet, nothing like that.
Yeah. So going into this year, I think it was your first event. You finished second at the start of the year.
Yeah, what on Clutch to do, I spent 2 months straight out in Portugal playing
Hmm.
events. Just so I mean, from January 4th was when I flew out to Portugal and didn't come home until Feb 28th, I think.
And you
And
played well in that stretch.
yeah, finished third on the order of merit there. Played with a lot of good golfers as well, and I'd be quite good at sort of nitpick. No, not nitpicking. What's the word? I guess picking people's brains. So like I played. Remember I played a final around there with Liam Johnson and Craig Howie, who I've known anyway from sort of I guess guys at uni and playing golf previously, and then play a bit of Pedro Figueiredo, and he was like DP World Tour card and various Hotel Planet Tour categories, and asked them about their golf and levels up and what I need to improve in their opinion and so on. So golf aside, it was more the people that I could talk to and sort of I guess pick little nuggets out leading into my season that I found really good. And just like I mean I watched boys, I thought, God, you're playing awfully, and you sign the card at the end, they shoot 500, and you think, Jesus, that was impressive.
Hmm.
I think, yeah, picking up little bits like that and watching how they dealt when things weren't going their way and so on made me think actually that's what I need to improve on more than necessarily on a great golf swing
Yeah. And
and so
we
on and
I
so on.
feel like that's a good thing you you pointed out there, I think that's usually the guys that make it to the tour.
Mm.
It's not the guys that you think, oh wow, he flushes it.
Yeah.
It's actually the boys who you play, you think he was pretty average, and then in the scoring area, he's just signed for 67, and you're like,
Yeah.
how? And then you're like, he was not that good, but he's signing for 67, and then you see a year later he's on the DP World Tour,
I mean, you
and
play
you're
with
like,
Pedro, haven't you, Rob?
I've played with Pedro, yeah.
I mean, Pedro uses a mini driver, doesn't use a tee. He chucks it on the floor, off the deck, hits it within 5 seconds.
yeah,
But then if you watch his game, he's probably, with everything but a driver, one of the most naturally gifted players I've ever seen. But you look at him and you think, there's no way you could play on DP World Tour. And he goes, yeah, I've just spent 4 years on that. And you think, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Just
That's more impressive than a flusher.
yeah. It's just guys, they just find a way to get it in play, and then they're just so good with wedges.
Yeah.
And that's boys that make it to the DP.
Yeah.
So,
With obviously the mindset on top.
so you're picking people's brains, obviously going as well. But in general, do you keep stats? Do you know what to work on? Do you know the weaknesses of
Yeah.
your game? So
I
how
use
does that work?
I use up game. So I do mainly strokes gained. Probably have to take a bit of a pinch of salt because obviously some stats are dictated by the courses you play. Like as in strokes gained off the tee can be a little misleading sometimes.
Hmm.
Play a short fiddly golf course and you'll be insensible. You basically get penalised for it. But for the most part, yeah, really good. So I know, well, I knew from 2024 that my putting had to improve a lot if I wanted to win. So my putting stats were like, I think I lost on average minus 1.2 around or something like that,
Hmm.
which, yeah, not very good. But then when I looked into it, it probably wasn't awful. Like I go on Sam Putt Lab and I have a high consistency and I start the ball where I want. I think, oh, that's all right. And then uh realized it was a bit of my green reading, learn aim point, and this year that improved. I think I was literally break even zero this year, maybe gaining 0.0, I don't know, whatever. But like that's a big, like on
Yeah,
average
that's
I'm getting
big.
a
Shot around,
over
yeah.
a shot around
Yeah.
putting. So then all of a sudden I'm there going, I can play badly. And I'm thinking, right, I just get them down everywhere. Or
Yeah.
I
Four
say,
shots
right,
an event, yeah.
if I hit 1 to 15 foot, I'll probably hole it. Rather than
What do you
thinking, Jesus,
Yeah.
another
What do you think
0.0 shot
you
one.
still have to improve on to get to the next level?
Everything.
What's the next step?
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely everything.
I mean, you must be good at something. On the
Uh,
golf course here. Yeah.
my iron play is really good, if I'm being
Humble.
humble. Really good.
So, but you when you're in the start of the year, say start of 2024, going to, oh sorry, end of 2024, going to 2025, you know that your putting needs to improve. But those, I suppose, I should ask you as well. Going into this year, did you have goals? Did you have performance goals that you wanted to have, hit certain stats? You wanted to improve
Yeah.
your putting, obviously, but did you have like outcome goals where you wanted to win things? How did that look going into this season?
I have process goals and I have outcome goals. And if you hit your process goals, your outcome goals should effectively take care of themselves in an ideal world. Which I think is how a lot of guys would probably function. I set outcome goals at the start of this year of obviously getting off the tour for starters, but that would include, for me, I know top three order of merit or at worst in the top six, which would then get some invites. I also wanted to get to final stage of Q school was a goal of mine. And then I just wanted to win. So those are my three goals pretty much. And then my process goals were just losing a few shots off the tee, so I need to get that round zero rather than sort of losing minus -0.8 or something I was. And then I need to sort of putting out and get that. I think it was under minus 0.5 as my goal. Because then in theory, I said I should save on average 2 shots around, which would be big in cases where I finished fourth and lost by, I don't know, 2 shots, or if I finished second and lost by a shot. So like, I hit some of my process goals, so hit my putting process goal. Hit my scoring average process goal as well. I've been under 70. I was like 69.7 or something for this year for all the events I played from January to September, which is
That's impressive, yeah.
pretty good. I mean, because I've obviously played some golf courses that are, I guess, what people call pitch and putts and easy, but you also play some time. I mean, played Armouge in Oman, which was seriously brutal. So yeah, you play some good golf courses as well. So that was pretty encouraging. But then, yeah, obviously I had to deal with the fact that I hit two of my main process goals and not achieved any of my outcome goals, which was
Yeah. Oh,
ironic, really, but that's part of golf.
suppose getting into the season, I was going to ask anyway, actually, in terms of setting those goals, are you setting them on your own or are you doing it with your coach? Is there a few people involved?
Outcome goals I'll set my own.
Okay.
Process goals that I've helped with my golf coach, knowing that. So my golf coach is my cousin now, so he'll basically go, like, you're not very good at this. And I go, all right, okay, cheers, Dan. Let's try and improve that. And then we sort of go from there.
So, first couple of months you were playing in Portugal, played well again, as you said, and then back on the clutch after having mixed success. I suppose the year before was good, not so well the first year, and then you started the season with a tied second or second on your own.
Yeah, I finished tied second at Alain. Was tied for the league going into the final round, and then ended up losing by one to a friend of mine, which was, I think I had a 6-footer to get into a playoff, and then ended up missing that. So that was, I mean, in hindsight, not helpful towards the end of the year, but at the time, it's still a confidence booster. But yeah, finished second there, and then finished 11th the next two in Oman. So it was quite a solid start of the year, to be honest.
And that was that coming from momentum? Obviously, there was momentum was helping you from the swing, but did you go into those with any different mentality like you did the 2 years before, or was just naturally you played better this time round?
I think because I played 9 events in 2 months in Portugal,
Hmm.
and I think I was just in a swing of playing competitive golf and playing, obviously playing okay, but then obviously when you're just playing competitive golf in your way, you have to find little sort of band-aids to keep your swing together and your game together. You're not playing well. So I was in a mode of not thinking golf swing like a lot of people might do during the winter. I was just in a mode of sort of competing and playing. And then after I came back from Portugal, I flew out to the Middle East 2 weeks later or 10 days later. So I was basically had like a short break, per se, and then was straight back to it. So I didn't really feel like I stopped and had to start again. I just kept going and going, which was great for me. I was just in the swing of playing golf.
Yeah, I suppose Rob's spoken about this before as well about at this stage you've got 2 years of traveling, managing, yeah, just traveling in general, not staying in your own bed, being on the road for weeks at a time. I suppose that's probably helped alongside the course sharpness because going into
Yeah,
March, you're probably as sharp as you would have been mid-season other years potentially. So
yeah, 100%. That's probably the sharpest I felt mentally for playing competitive golf for a long time because I was just, I mean, like in that swing, and then obviously used to being away from home. It's not like you go from home comfort, and it's a big thing when you leave for a couple of weeks. It was like I was already missed of doing that for a while. So yeah, it was okay actually.
Nothing beats tournament golf, like in terms of prep. Guys, they are like, oh, I'm gonna take a few weeks off to get ready for this event,
Yeah,
and I just feel
no,
like that
that
is
doesn't
the
work.
worst thing you can do, that prep wise.
yeah, it comes back
Yeah,
to even amateur golf or like you just need when you got a young junior getting good at golf and cope. You said in the last episode where someone said you just need to have a card in your hand and just get used to doing that. And
Yeah,
obviously when you're a pro, you're used to playing golf all the time, but you still stand over, well, maybe less so than me and Kemp do, stand over 6, 7 footers in the first hole going, I just don't feel up for this. Um, so just getting back into that mindset of
Jesus, that's a
just
dark
get,
place to be in the first hole.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
but just getting yourself ready to this having this whole scores irrelevant mindset in your head as well, which just comes with playing loads and loads of tournaments because you're like, oh, even if I
Yeah,
don't play well today, I've got another tournament next week, another tournament the week after. Like it just over the course of a season, um, your best stuff will come out. So going into like mid-season, were you still on the same trajectory, playing well, or did you have any slumps at any stage?
I missed the cut in so played Morocco as well. So finished second, 11th, 11th, then came sixth the first event in Morocco, and thought, right, okay, I'm obviously in a nice position. It'd be nice to then win next week, and then uh came like 70th or something in the second event there. Nothing, um I made no progress in the order of merit doing that, and then missed the first cut after that, and then went to St. Mellon, which is a golf course that I'm not massively a fan of. And I was on the brink of missing the cut there, and don't know if the pro golf tour is the same, or I think Tart might be saying you do live scoring on your phone like Golf Genius. I remember checking to do live scoring with 3 hours to play, and I was 2 shots outside the cut line. And I had a message from my golf club going, "Oh, what's happening? A bit of a slump at the moment. That's another missed cut this week because he saw my name outside the cut line, but didn't realize I was on the 16th tee." And I went, oh mate, I'm not having this. And then I finished birdie par, make the cut by one in the end, which and then finished, I don't know, 30 seconds and 33rd. That was like a little, I mean, again, like Rob was saying earlier, that was like a little catalyst for me to then play a little bit of a stretch of better golf after that because I mean, I was playing awful, struggling my golf swing, but then it was like, okay, that's a bit of positive to show that under a bit of pressure when I need to, I can pick it up a little bit. Let's try and do that, I guess, from hole one, not on the 16th tee in round two.
Yeah. So then,
Momentum's everything, isn't it?
Mm,
Just like building small wins here and there, even if you're playing
yeah,
terribly, like it's you have to stay build momentum. Like even if if you're having a terrible time, if you have a good practice session, really trying to feel the momentum, like write it down, really think about, oh, that was great. Move it
yeah,
into the next, like building momentum. It's so easy to just get into a negative spiral in pro golf, and you got to have solutions to break that down. I mean, same in amateur golf. Like I see people get so frustrated all the time about like I mean Kemp and Ethan. I've never seen boys get more mad about their game, on course when they work a full-time job. I'm like, guys, relax. Like, you got
I know.
Makes it worse. Then you got to go back to work stressed.
Yeah. Although
That's true.
it is not obviously it's a completely different level, but when I mean I played a good few more events this year than Kempo, and I felt like I got more relaxed as the year went on because I was like, even if I have a bad couple of holes, it's really not the end of the world. But
yeah. No one's gonna come take your clubs off you, are they?
yeah.
You still
They
finish
So,
your
should.
round.
They definitely should sometimes.
but you just know that you can hit one or two good shots, and that's all it really takes to kind of build either build that momentum mid round
Or the opposite.
or well, maybe for you, yeah. But yeah,
Kevin,
just
you need some help.
yeah, I think you just need to play more events and that, and you'll
Yeah, you get in the flow of it all, don't you?
yeah. So going
Yeah.
into the tail end of the season, then you were obviously well positioned on the order of merit with going into the turf finals. There's two events back to back in the Middle
Yeah,
East.
last three events. So there was one at Castle Royal in September, and then flew out to Dubai like 2 weeks later to play the last two.
So before you went out to the last two, you were sitting third or fourth
Fifth, I think it was, or
or
fourth.
fifth. Okay. And
Fifth.
on clutches at top three, get a challenge tour.
Top three we get full invites, but then at the time, which is now not the case, but at the time we were told that because the top three had, sorry, because two of the top three had won three times, that the automatic spaces had dropped down because they got an automatic category via the three-win policy to move up at all. But either way, if I'd stayed in the top, if I stayed in the top eight, I'd have got some promotion. The Challenge Strong got 8 invites, I think, at the mean.
And then you flew out to Dubai for the first event, and what happened?
I found out before I flew to Dubai. So after the last round at Castle Royal, noticed that my back was not in a good place. Been taking ibuprofen to play probably too regularly. And then didn't play very well there. Struggled. Went home, had a day off, went to practice, and then I went played 2 holes, got in the second hole, and I just spasmed and couldn't stand up straight. And I went, oh no, it's not ideal. I had it before my back and thought, oh, it's just a case of I need to have sort of 3, 4 days off, go see an osteopath or a chiropractor, do all the normal stuff, and then went and saw the woman that I see locally. Uh, Felt a little better, still felt tender. I went, okay, I'll just take it easy. Didn't do anything the day after. Then went to go practice lightly, stretched, activated as I would do normally, probably. Um, Hit 10 balls and went, oh my God, this is even worse. So then I went back and said, listen, this doesn't feel right. And then sort of, I guess, checked me over again with on um on my lower back. And then she said, I'm worried this might be um some sort of ligament or disc issue. So I'm going to refer you for an MRI. Let's go get this checked out because it's a bit worrying that you come back less than 48 hours later and you're struggling. And I went, right, okay. So that was on the Thursday. On the Saturday, I had an MRI. And the Monday, I got the result. And she said, send me the results as soon as you get them, and I'll tell you because I can read what's it called? A radiologist report.
Radiologists.
That's the one. And she rang me and said, you've got an annular tear in your L5 disc. So long story short, it's sort of degenerated and you've ruptured it. So that's why you're the way you are. My heart sank, to be honest, because then I think most golfers, if you said you've got a ruptured disc, would go, oh no, it's like that's like a golfer's equivalent of a footballer tearing their ACL, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you flew out to Dubai anyway.
So I
So I
was
didn't realize all this unfolded before you flew to Dubai.
yeah. I was prescribed codeine diazepam, which was great for pain relief, and
Great fun.
oh, just sat in my room for a week staring at the ceiling. Um, and I
Straight back to the Sterling Uni days there.
yeah, lie in a dark room asking for help. And I was taking those stretching. I think I did something like 6 days and didn't touch a club, which is alien for me in terms of prepping for an event. I found that pretty difficult. And then said, right, I'm gonna have to basically see if I can grin and bear it, because if I don't go over there and play, even if I can muster up one of those sort of 25th or 30th places with double points in the line and 1.5 times points in the line the last two events, I might be able to get some invites and sort of, I guess, solidify my place where I am. And decide to fly over there, but in the UAE you can't take in codeine and diazepam without prior um like clearance from their health organization. So I had homeopathic remedies, I had Tiger Balm, paracetamol, ibuprofen, uh no, sorry, not ibuprofen, I had naproxen, which is I mean a horrible drug, ruins your insides. Then had deep heat, had a TENS machine that pregnant women use for pain relief during birth, have one of those, um, which was, it basically sends little electric shocks into you on two little pads you stick to yourself. It basically stops pain signaling.
Hmm.
Um, Went out there to prep and play, knew it was not great, really tough without codeine, diazepam for pain relief. Was in the pool, stretching, wasn't hitting anything flat out, and then I tried to play 5 holes in the practice round, and I just went, I, I mean, she couldn't move, to be honest. So that was pretty,
Yeah.
yeah, heartbreaking, if I'm honest. Sat in
Yeah.
a buggy in Dubai in 37-degree heat, watching boys prep for an event that could change their life or their season, and I'm there knowing that I have to go home the next day in pain.
Yeah. That's I was gonna say it's soul destroying. Obviously it's gotten as well that you're saying the top eight probably got something, and the way that you said it's 1.5 points or double points those two
Yeah,
events. So then it meant just by not playing, you're at a severe disadvantage
yeah.
overall.
What
And
did you end up finishing in the ranking then?
Ninth Rob. Yeah. So I finished
Yeah.
ninth and I missed those two events where I only had double points the last event plus a leaderboard for the last event only for clutch members. So if you finished 12th in the event, but you were seventh out of all the guys that were clutch tour members, you'd finish seventh and get the points for seventh.
Damn.
So stuff like that shattered me, but then everyone knew that sign up for at the start of the year, I just wasn't able to play. So it was probably unfortunate for me and
mhm.
specifically, but then obviously great for the people that went there and took advantage of it. So it's just sort of the way the
Mhm.
sort of cookie crumbled, I guess.
And
Yeah.
what's the landscape now then with the injury and recovery time?
So that was a sticky one because I was told different things by everyone. No one could give me a set time. No, it was like everyone was afraid to go, oh, this is really bad or this is okay. Or like I'd be pretty black and white in terms of if you break your ankle, someone will go, okay, it'll be 6 weeks. Just
Hmm.
take it easy. Whereas because of the way the disc is torn at the back and where it is and what I do, it'd be a case of strengthening areas around it while resting that. But then it's, it's like carrot and stick. You can't have too much of the other, or you just burn out. So like I've had one person say a year, which I just ignored. I just said that's not going to happen, to be
Yeah.
honest. I've had one person say 2 months. I've had one person say 5 months, and then I ended up going, right, I need to go speak to someone. Messaged Chris Wood, because he's had back issues in the past, being a big tall guy that plays golf.
Hmm.
And he said to go see a guy called Tim Swan, in London who deals with like the military and the DP World Tour, and he is old school, no nonsense. He basically said to me, if you do this every day for X amount of time, you will get better, which is what I need to hear. So since then, well, ever since I came back from Dubai, joined a leisure centre, swimming every day, doing hydrotherapy, and something which I absolutely hate, but I have to do it because it's something to be good for me. And then
Mhm.
since I saw him and got clearance to start rehab, it's 2 resistance band and functional movement workouts a day, which are pretty sore on my back and leave you pretty exhausted in the day, but they are obviously meant to be good for you, but they're so boring.
Yeah,
It is, yeah. But
I
that's
know I know it's
what I
different, but
really
my
miss.
like my brother's a physio and he always I mean he says you can give people all these exercises, but people just won't do them. But I mean, obviously it's good from him, come from a reputable source that if
Yeah,
you will do these, you will get better, and you don't really need much more motivation than that. Obviously,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean they're not
no,
boring, but at least you've got like a purpose you're working
I
towards.
yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, it's more. I mean, obviously Rob's been injured for a while, and he's just coming back now, and it's more probably what it does to you physically, because physically you're sort of told what to do. It's mentally, what do you do yourself in the time where you're not doing anything that you normally do? How do you occupy yourself? How do you stay sane? How do you help yourself? And it's like no one prepares you for that. So that's why, again, your support group's pretty big. Um, Probably have to take a lot of your own initiative to go, right, I'm going to take control of the situation. Because, I mean, me personally, I hate the idea of just waiting for something to happen. I'd be
mhm.
right, I'd rather go, you can go do this, 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 and this, and then off you go. Just sort of take control of the situation a bit more, which is, what I've done, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, I had the same, Jack. It's these banded. I had the same thing for like
Yeah.
4 months. I just did those 2 banded sessions a day, one in the morning, one in the evening.
Yeah.
And I mean, you feel yourself getting dumber by the second, like doing
Yeah.
them. And it's just so hard to stay motivated. I mean, this is completely different, but I just ended up doing a business program just to further my education, just
Did
something
you?
to keep your called this it's called the CFA, and
Yeah.
it's just something to keep your mind like sharp.
Yeah, like have a focus day to day as well as those 2 exercises.
Yeah, yeah. Because you'll drive yourself into the ground.
Yeah.
After a month, I said, okay, I need to do something different here because I am gonna lose my mind. And you're probably at
Yeah.
that stage now, like
You must be a pretty
especially the way you
serious.
talk to your especially the way you talk to your dog there. I think you're
Oh, bless it. Yeah.
you're about 2 days out from something seriously stupid.
Well,
See,
Cope, you must be a serious COD player by now, then.
I'm horrific, but I I've actually got into meditation big time, which for people that know me may come as a surprise because that is probably not what you'd associate with Jack.
I'm very supportive of
Is
it, but I still find it funny.
Yeah.
so I've been into breathing and stuff on the golf course, but not like actually relaxing myself on and off the golf course. So like um started looking at how to control my breath, how to relax myself and stay a bit more present rather than let my mind wander. Because when you're injured, you got a lot of time to think. I mean, you're doing your rehab and you come back and probably you come back from a session, you think on a day before you might have thought, okay, you're closer to return than I know you sort of initially thought, and then you have a session when your body's sore and you think, oh, maybe not, and then your head goes, well, I know what if I've damaged it, what if I've done this, and then you do an exercise to strengthen other areas, another niggle shows, and you're like, oh God, what if that's this? And you just need to quiet your mind and shut yourself off. So I'm doing some guided meditations even in the evening. When I sit in the sauna, I'll do a meditation. Started doing some sauna and cold showering, which is for anyone that's done that, is awful, but makes your body feel great. And then it's like a mental thing of when I control my breathing, when I shut like when I cold shower after a sauna, I feel much more level than when I first started doing it, which shows that I'm probably gaining some form of
Yeah.
control when I'm doing it now, which is positive. So stuff like that that I'd have poo-poo before or said, oh, that's not for me, or that's not for me. It's given me time to look at other things and reflect a bit, which is probably something I wouldn't have had if I just kept pounding my body, pounding golf, sort of yada yada yada, which is in a weird way a positive that's come out of this,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Well,
And,
you've t
and that'll help you next year, like when you're back
Yeah,
on that course. Like, these are
exactly.
all
Yeah.
tools, these are all skills you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said the broken arm was the best thing that happened to you, so hopefully the back is a similar story.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure. I think we always seem to do this around an hour. I think it's about an hour we've done. So thanks very much, Jack. That was brilliant.
Thanks very much for having me, boys.
You probably will be back on at some stage. We might have to give you like a cap or something, have an alter ego because we need various guests on, but you're more welcome to come on as yourself as well.
There's one man that's a member at Bothwell Castle with a lot of knowledge to give. Not
Yeah,
naming any names, but he's a three-time club champion now. He's
yeah.
unbearable.
Part part three can be Jack Cope's caddy.
That could be great.
That could be the third one. But yeah, thanks very much. As our viewers or listeners might know, now we're on YouTube as well. Despite taking advice from Jordan, I just decided to upload them all at the same time, so you can go back and watch all of them. So by the time this one goes out, we'll be up to date. So follow us on YouTube, subscribe there. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and yes, well, we're not sure what we're going to do in the next one, but we'll see you next week anyway.
See ya.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.